Next, we're going to be writing an equation from a graph. So we're going to be looking at a graph like this, and we're going to write the equation. And when we write the equation, we're going to write it like this, y equals mx plus b in this form. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the y-intercept. Okay, the y-intercept. Now that one's easy to find. We just look for the y-axis and we find where the line hits. So in this case, the y-intercept is 1, positive 1. Look, I can right away just write in the y-intercept, right? I'm just filling in blanks. The two things I need are the slope, right? The slope's going to go right here, and the y-intercept. Those are, once I have those two pieces of information, I have the equation. Okay, now this is called a lattice point. The reason it's called a lattice point is because it's on a vertical line and a horizontal line. That's the kind of point I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a second lattice point to count the rise over run, which will give me my slope. Now, when I'm looking for a lattice point, I'm going to start at the y-intercept, and I'm going to go along the line. And what I'm looking for, see, like this is not a lattice point. It's hitting a vertical line, but not a horizontal line. This is not a lattice point. This is hitting a horizontal line, but not a vertical line. Same here. This is a lattice point. Okay, it's hitting a vertical line. It's also hitting a horizontal line. So this is my second point, and now I'm going to count my rise. 1, 2, that's my rise. My run. 1, 2, 3, that's my run. Okay, so my rise over run is 2 over 3. And then I'm just going to double check, is this a positive slope? Yep, sure is. So my slope is positive, and this is my line. Okay, y equals 2/3 x plus 1. And you can just you can kind of double check it. You're really good at going in reverse. So if I were to graph this line, I would start at 1, I'd go up 2 over 3, perfect. All right, let's look at this one. Again, I'm writing an equation, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to find the y-intercept first. So here's the y-axis. My y-intercept is positive 4. Okay, and now I'm looking for a second point. Now what I want to point out to you is when you're looking for another point, like here's one, right? Here's one. There's sometimes more than one choice. A good rule of thumb to make your life easier is to find the closest one. So start at the y-intercept and just go until you hit the first lattice point. Okay, otherwise you're going to end up having to reduce a fraction, which is just like a pain in the butt. Okay, so now I'm going to count my rise. My rise is -2, I went down 2, and my run is 1. Okay, so now listen, my rise over run is -2 over 1. Do I write -2 over 1 on my slope? No, you never see me give you a slope like this, and you shouldn't give it back to me, right? -2 divided by 1 is just -2. Now, let's say you counted and you were like, oh, 2 over 1, and you wrote 2. That's fine, not a big deal, but then you look at the graph, give it a second look, and be like, oh, that slope is negative, right? It's going down from left to right, therefore I know that I should pop a negative sign on my slope. Okay, here you can look at the slope right away. You know it's going to be positive. We're looking for the y-intercept first. It's right here. It's -3. And now I'm looking for the slope that I'm going to put right here. So I see, oh, here's another lattice point right here. Look, I'm just looking and I found the first one. I'm going up 1, right 1. Let's say you looked and you found this lattice point. That's fine. It will be up 2, right 2. Either way, 1 divided by 1, 2 divided by 2. These are all just the number 1, right? So do I even need to write 1x? Nope. Right? That 1 is invisible. It's not wrong to write 1x, but we're going to actually just go all the way correct, and we're just going to write this as y equals x minus 3, just like that. All right? Couple just quick notes to avoid. So you might write this. You might find a slope of 2 over 1, rise over run of 2 over 1, and a y-intercept of -5. Please don't write it like this, okay? When you see something like 2 over 1, we just write that as 2, right? Any number over 1, we just write it like this, okay? Same deal here. We can do better than this. Instead of writing plus -5, we just write -5. Okay, so make sure things are simplified, right? Simplify this and simplify this. Here, don't do this. Don't write 1x. We don't write 1x. We just write x. Don't write plus 0 if the y-intercept is 0. We don't write plus 0. So this equation would just be this, okay? This 1 multiplied by x and this plus 0, these are both invisible. Okay, so that would look like this. Okay, so just be mindful that you will need to kind of simplify things all the way.